Hello, my name is Jovan Milicevic. This is episode 96 of the Talking Grammar podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, and as you just heard, this is episode 96 now of the Talking Grammar podcast. Fun interview today. Lobo freshman forward Jovan Milicevic. If I even got that right, it's the best part about being the writing grammar is you don't have to pronounce anything the right way. You just have to write it. But this is talking grammar, and got some video, got some audio, and I really need to try and get it right. So hopefully I did. I do ask him to pronounce his name, and obviously he gets a lot of different ones. But Jovan Milicevic is the guest on today's episode, and he's a freshman, 6'10", playing at 237 right now, 6'10", 260. I think he said 265 maybe, when he got to campus, had to lose some weight when he got here, because Richard Pitino's Lobos run. They run, and he had to lose a little bit of weight, and he's feeling good right now, and he's starting to become not just a nice little piece off the bench, but a regular and needed 15 minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minute guy off the bench, primarily at the 4, as Mustafa Amzil's backup at the 4, and he has shown his versatility. That's for sure. He can hit the 3. He calls himself a 3-level scorer. I tell him during the interview, and we'll talk about it. At 6'10", 240, 237 is what he is right now. You just look at him and you expect him to be more of a 5, right? More of a center, more of a maybe down low, in the post, back to the basket kind of guy. That's actually what I've seen him do more infrequently than I've seen him run the floor a little bit and stretch it out and knock down threes and play a little bit far from the basket. So I now believe he has that part. Now I want to see if he can be a 5. This is a Lobo team that's going to need a 5 next year. That's way down the road, but he can play some minutes at the 5, especially in the way this offense kind of spreads it out anyway. And he's been a key part. But he talks about team chemistry. He talks about joking around, both with Richard Pitino, the coach, and just his teammates, and Filip Borvichinin, his fellow Serbian, who is from Serbia, whereas Jovan is from Toronto. His parents are from Serbia. He's been back to Serbia. His family's still there, and he does speak Serbian. And it's a fun conversation. Hope you like it. Hope you enjoy it. As I record this on Wednesday, the Lobos their next 2 games are on the road, at UNLV on Saturday, at Utah State the following weekend. The Lobos are alone in first place in the Mountain West standings right now. They're sitting pretty, but the toughest part of their schedule, there's no question, no hiding from it. The toughest part of their schedule is in front of them. They have a lot of tough road games out in front of them for the second half of Mountain West play. And it starts this weekend at UNLV, and the toughest environment, frankly, by far, in my opinion, that they're going to face so far this season will be next Saturday at Utah State in Logan, regardless of what happens between now and then for the Utah State Aggies. The only real tough road environment the Lobos have faced so far this year was in New York, second weekend of the city, when they played in Madison Square Garden against St. John's. That was the first road environment, great environment to play in Madison Square Garden. I wouldn't say it's one of the more hostile, like opposing student sections like Utah State and Viejas Arena, San Diego State are going to have. That is something the Mountain West has that a lot of places just don't have. Madison Square Garden is Madison Square Garden. Don't get me wrong; it was a great venue to be in, and it was an opposing venue for sure. The fan base, while there were a lot of New Mexico fans, that was an opposing fan base to play in front of. But they're really going to hit it next Saturday when they're in Logan, Utah. It's one of the toughest places in terms of opposing fan base and fan environment, created hostile fan environment. They're going to face it next week for the first time, and they're going to face it the whole second half of the season because their tough road games at Nevada, at Utah State, at San Diego State, at Boise State are all still in front of them. So they're sitting pretty now. They've put themselves in a good position, and I think his role, Jovan's role, is going to be increasing down the stretch too, which should be a good thing and a fun thing for Lobo fans. It's fun to see a 6'10", 240-pounder knocking down threes and running the floor. And he's such a good demeanor and disposition about him, and accepts his role, and accepts that accepted he had to lose some weight when he got here, accepted that didn't play big minutes early in the year. He just accepts it all and works, and now he's starting to see the benefits of that, and it's kind of fun getting to know players like him, and seeing the reward at the end, and stuff start paying off for him. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Like I said, abqjournal.com is where you can follow all our coverage of Lobo sports, high school sports, all our sports coverage. And if you can, please subscribe. Support local journalism. It's the only way these podcasts keep happening. It's the only way coverage of Lobo basketball continues to happen at this rate. And the Journal does devote a lot of resources. Not many places out west, and certainly not in the Mountain West, are devoting the resources to cover their basketball team quite like this. There are Big Ten teams that have local publications not paying to travel with them as much. Now they're doing a lot of cross-country travel. I get all that, whatever. The Albuquerque Journal is still devoting the resources to cover Lobo basketball, whereas a lot of other places aren't. And it only happens with the support from you guys, the readers, the listeners, all that. However you're watching this, however you're listening to this, if it's audio podcast, hit subscribe, please. It helps us out. Hit the like button, whatever you can do. If you're interested in advertising, please let me know, and we're going to start making sure that starts happening. It's just not content. It is a product that we're hoping to continue, and we do that through things like people subscribing, through things like advertisers, stuff like that. So let me know, and we will make it happen. Appreciate you guys for watching and listening and all this stuff. You can always get me on email, ggrammar@abqjournal.com, or on social media @JeffGrammer. Remember, it's GEOFF, and grammar with an ER at the end. But enough of all the babbling, enough of the talking grammar. Let's get to the talking Jovan and the interview I have with UNM Lobo freshman forward, Jovan Milicevic, here on episode 96 of the Talking Grammar podcast. And Jovan, I'm going to start off because a lot of people watching and listening right now probably they know you by sight. They know your name in the roster. I was just talking to Steve, and I'm pronouncing your name probably wrong the whole time too. Now, normally I write, so it doesn't really matter, and I know how to say Jovan. Tell people the correct pronunciation of your name, primarily your last name.
Jovan Milicevic.
Milicevic.
Yeah,
How bad do people butcher that when they?
It gets bad. It gets bad. I get Jovan Milicevic, a lot of things. I just try reminding people like Jokic, Doncic, and then Milicevic, like the same little accents on there.
I like the reference to Jokic, and we're gonna ask a little bit about that here in a minute. Because when you committed, I talked to you on the phone, and you mentioned a couple guys you model your game after, or would like to model your game after, and he was a guy that came up in conversation. So we're gonna get to that. As we record this right now, though, you just got done with the practice. You guys are sitting in a good spot right now, first place in the standings as we record this. The season gets tough, obviously, from here, and I think you guys have a pretty good understanding of that. That there's a lot of road games ahead, tough games, and all that. I am curious though, man. What's the mood like right now? You guys are a first place team, and what's the mood like in that practice, in that locker room? How are you guys feeling right now?
The mood's really good right now, especially after last game's win. Coach is preaching he wants Mount West champs. That's all he talks about. So he's not giving us lighter. He's not making practices lighter for us. We're constantly every day just attacking practice every day as hard as possible, and just doing it to the best of our abilities.
You guys obviously look earlier this year. I've been around a lot of Lobo basketball teams, and your guys' chemistry seems great to me. Kind of lighthearted. You're one of the guys. You and Philip are two guys that I think I heard someone call him a goofball the other day, and I asked you, is he? And yeah, you guys kind of joke around a lot. You guys seem really lighthearted. It got to the point though where you guys have so many kind of laid back, just really good temperament kind of players that Coach Pitino earlier this year said this is a team that it's not like a bad thing necessarily, but I got to get on them a little bit. Like they are in a good mood all the time, and he seems like he maybe found the right mix in the last month because you guys are playing so well. But did you notice that a little bit? Like there was one mood and everybody was happy, but then Coach started turning up the the yelling a little bit more. And
For
but
sure.
you guys have responded. Did you see that though?
For sure, for sure. I was gonna say our team, we have great guys on the team. I feel like this is the best team I've been in terms of chemistry wise. Like off the court, on the court, we're always together. Everyone has great character, so I'm just thankful for that. And then from a coaching standpoint, I see why he has to yell a little bit more at us this year than previous years. So I think it's only benefit us in a positive way.
Yeah,
So we're all thankful for that,
yeah. Well, and
and
he
we're all
even said
taking
it.
it.
Yeah, he was like, it's not even a bad thing. It's not like they're not doing what I tell them to do or whatever. Like it's just maybe they're like so just even keeled and in a good temperament all the time that sometimes you got to get after him and like kind of yell at him to remind him, oh yeah, let's get a little more intense here. Sometimes
Right.
you guys aren't intense enough, but it isn't that you guys aren't working. And I would say in the past month though, pretty much since the New Mexico State loss, I would say
Right.
you guys have played really good basketball. I know you guys lost at San Jose, but you guys have been playing pretty good. Is there a different feel in the performance and how you guys feel like you're performing in the past few weeks?
I would say after that loss, the New Mexico State loss, defensively we picked it up a lot.
Yeah.
Defensively, we've been all over the ball. Coach talks about ball pressure, being in the gap. So that's one thing that we picked up a lot. And it's, as you can see, other teams has been struggling with our defense. Obviously, offensively, it's going to come if shots aren't falling. We're going to see fast break, all that. So just keeping up our defensive intensity during the games.
In your past, and this goes at the youth level, the high school level, club ball, all that kind of stuff. It's easy to say you play really good defense, but the defense amps up probably more than the offense. There's talented players and great offensive players in college, but the team defense really kind of takes a step up in college. Is that a step up that you noticed or you were ready for? That the defense is really where a big step needs to take
For
place.
sure, that's probably one of the biggest differences I felt from high school to college, the physicality and the defense, being able to stay in front of the ball. That's a big thing. But also knowing that with our defense, we all have each other's back. If you get beat, we have someone rotating. You just have to scramble out and play. Main thing is just playing hard. That's the main thing for us.
All right, I'm going to take a step back now. You committed to the Lobos in October of 2023. More than a year ago now is when you first committed. At least in my article, yeah, I think October 2023, right? That's when I wrote the article. Or were you just, you committed then, and then you signed in November. So,
Yes.
um, so this was a while back now. I'm going to start with there was you posted a tweet, and these graphics are, you guys can't commit and can't announce that you're committing to a team without one of these great graphics now, right? Your graphic had the moon, had a Lobo, had you doing this, had like a
Yeah.
classic car in cherry red. It seems like you not only knew it's not exactly a lowrider, but like the New Mexico culture is a classic car kind of. There's some lowrider components to a lot of New Mexico. It seems like you had somebody in your ear telling you all these things that like Lobo fans
Right.
are gonna love. I guess who made that graphic? First of all, we'll give them their due a little bit, but then also what went behind your graphic, man?
It was a guy named Kyle. He does graphics for a lot of guys coming out of high school and transfer portal, all that type of stuff. But I just showed him, I was like, I'm coming to the Lobos. I said, make it look cool, make it look nice. He's actually the one that came up with all those ideas. I think I caught when True, because I knew True in Phoenix,
Uh-huh.
because I played in Phoenix throughout high school. I saw his commitment post and I was like, let's have like a same feel. I kind of like that vibe during the
Okay.
edit. So then he ended up making it for me.
Very good. And those graphics, I mean, it's like it doesn't even count if you don't have a graphic anymore. Like you guys got to get one of those. When you committed, I was able to talk to you on the phone, and this is what I'm going to read a quote that you told me that night. And I put in the Albuquerque Journal online in the print edition, the old fashioned newspaper print edition. You said I asked you why you committed to the Lobos. You know the why. And you said, I felt like from the jump, we really had a connection, me and the coaching staff. They were the most consistent school out of every school that was recruiting me. They were always communicating with me and showing me love, letting me know I'm wanted there. And on my visit, which at the time was just earlier, a couple weeks earlier than when I talked to you, but you said, and on my visit there, I felt like home. The fans are amazing, the players I got along with great, and it just felt like home. So easy enough to say that a year before you're actually there. We're here in January now of 2025. You are more than halfway through your freshman season. You spent the summer here. The coaches aren't recruiting you anymore. They don't have to be nice to you anymore. You're here,
Right,
you're stuck, right?
right.
Um, Is it what you thought it would be, and what is different, if anything, from what kind of you were promised to what it has been?
100%. I feel like coming in, like I said before, when they were recruiting me throughout the process they were amazing. And when I stepped foot on campus, they're amazing too. Coaches consistently, even till this day, make sure all the guys are good, asking you questions off the court. How's everything? How's your family back home? So they're still showing that love. They text my peoples back home and tell them that I'm doing all right over here. So I can't complain. Everything that they told me was true.
You back home. Let's clear that up for people that may not know. You and Philip both kind of get referred to as the two Serbs on the team, and there's
Yeah.
got to be a nickname, two Serbs and two Serbs and protect or something like that. I still got to work on something. There's got to be something there for the two of you. But you are from Toronto. Your parents of Serbian descent. Is that, have you been
Yes.
to Serbia?
Yes. I was actually there last summer.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there last summer. I still have family and my grandparents stay out there, so we try going there every summer to
And I
see
think
our
I asked you
family.
this the other day, but you speak what languages do you speak?
Fluent. I speak Serbian English and a little bit of French from
And a little
Canada.
bit of French.
Yeah,
And being from Toronto, you have some connections with some people. And in Arizona, you know Jerome Robinson?
I do. I do.
What do you know about
Coach
Jerome
J.
Robinson? He's one of my all-time favorites, man. He was an assistant coach here with the Lobos, as people know, and he's a guy. And like his daughter's killing it as a freshman, or now I guess going into her sophomore year or in her sophomore year of soccer. And like, he was a former great athlete. He was an assistant coach here. Tell me what it's like working with basketball wise, working with Jerome Robinson.
He was actually my AAU coach this last summer, 17U EYBL. He was there coaching me. I did not know that he was a coach at the Lobos. So that's what I mean by a full circle moment in terms of he was also my coach in AAU and he coached for the Lobos. So then he had connects there as well. But he's just a great coach. J.R.'s my guy. I can call him whenever I need something and he helped me pick this spot as well.
Yeah, big respect for JR from me because he is a guy that, the coaches come and go all the time, and I have good relationship with some, but not as good as with others. He's one of the former assistant coaches that I still actually text with a little bit and communicate with on social media and stuff. He's a great guy, and also was a hell of a basketball player out of Toronto.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have that connection as well. He's not only your coach, but he's got the Toronto connection and the New Mexico connection. So that's pretty cool. When you did get here, you were impressive right off the bat. I went to some practices and people were, eyes wide open. But you were announced when you committed as 6'10", 240. How big were you when you got here?
I was 266 pounds when I stepped
266.
foot in here. Yeah.
So I know they wanted you to lose some weight, and it wasn't so much that you weren't carrying that weight fine and agile and doing pretty good at that size. They really wanted you to sort of lean. How much did
Yeah.
you what was the challenge? Did you have to lose a specific amount of weight, or what was the
So
challenge?
they wanted me in between that 235, 240 range. I actually cut down to 237, which I'm currently at right now. Coach, as you guys can see, like pace is big in his gameplay. So he said like coming in a little bit heavier, just lose a little bit of weight, especially the way we're gonna be running up and down the court. And I think it benefited me. It helped me a lot. I'm thankful that they put me in the program. I had a little diet. They had me doing a little diet and coming in for extra conditioning so I could trim up a little bit and it helped me a lot.
I imagine it kind of got miserable at times though too. But
It
like,
did. It
yeah, I
did.
mean,
It
and
did.
Matt Flores used to be a Marine guy or in the military.
Yeah.
He,
Flores was on me. I'll tell you that. He was on me making sure
he's a
that
nice
I
guy,
stick
but
to
he
my
can get
diet.
on you, right? Like,
Yep.
but you there, and you made it. Do you feel? Does the body feel um on the court? Can you do things that you weren't doing about 25, 30 pounds heavier?
For sure, for sure. I feel like I'm a lot more laterally quick and more like explosive. I feel like when I came here, I was very flat-footed and like I felt heavy on the court, running up and down and playing. Obviously, I think I lost a little bit, I believe like a little bit of physicality, but throughout weight room, we're consistently in the weight room, so just gaining that strength and staying strong.
And that's kind of the give and take, right? You had to get a little smaller, but you have to find out how to do it without losing that physicality,
Right.
and
Right.
and all that's part of your freshman year, right? You're learning how to
Yeah.
do all that kind of stuff. You are a guy that early in the season weren't getting a lot of minutes, really until the December 14th game against Division II Western New Mexico when you blew up. You had 21 points, hit three pointers, six rebounds, four assists, three steals. it was against a Division II team, but like that was kind of your coming out party. In a
Mm.
lot of ways, you won Mountain West Freshman of the Week. Uh, what was that game like, especially after not getting big minutes until that game?
It was fun playing. As you can see, as you know, probably I had a little family member there. My cousin was on the court too, so I was like a wholesome moment for me and him. But it was just fun. It was fun getting up and down the court. It was a blowout game, so being out there and getting the minutes that I played and just putting them to use
All right,
and
you
having
you
fun with it.
Well, since then though, like it's like you got a little taste of it, and since then you've sort of been forcing your way onto the court. You're making him play you,
Yeah,
and you're getting more minutes. Starting to be really a regular now part of the rotation, not just a situational, but really more of a regular part of the rotation. Do you feel like do you feel that? Do you feel like you're a regular part of the rotation now, or you still have a lot to prove? You
for sure.
what's it like right now?
As you know, the starters are amazing. They always come out the game hot. Bench guys were really important. Just got to stay ready for that. I feel like I definitely show my role and what I could do for this team coming off the bench and just playing hard and giving my being a three level scorer, playing hard and defending the ball. So just thankful for that.
You said three-level scorer. That's actually a term you used again back when you committed that you really consider yourself a three-level scorer. There's two guys you said you kind of modeled your game after,
Mhm.
uh, or hope to emulate a little bit. And you said you don't think like at that level you didn't think people really appreciated or respected your basketball IQ and sort of how you see the floor and everything. They see 6'10" at that 250 or 240 at that time and got up to 260 when you got here. Like they just see a big guy, right? They just assume you're probably a big center, a big five. But you are a three-level scorer. You can hit the three. In fact, I've seen you hit the three more than I've seen you play any back to the basket kind of low post. And maybe that's more of my question now is how much of that can you do? But let me ask you. You said you Nikola Jokic and Kevin Love are two guys that maybe you would feel pretty happy if people thought you played like that. Um,
Mhm.
are those still two guys that are pretty good examples of what you want to be on the court?
For sure, for sure. I was gonna say with their size as well, being able to spread the court, and that's why you ask, like, why you think I might be seeing more threes than inside, because the bigger guys on their team might not think that I can shoot the three ball, and think I'm more of a back to the basket or inside the key type of guy. So just using my ability to shoot the ball, definitely helped spread the floor for all of us.
So you are playing your primary minutes are going to be at the backup four right now.
Right.
Mustafa Amzil. What have you learned from him at that position, but also from Anelli at the five, and what have you learned from? Let's just stick it with those two, the two starting, the four and the five, Mustafa Amzil and Nelly Junior Joseph. What have you learned from them so far this season?
I was gonna say more Stoff since he's more of my
Yeah,
position at the four.
yeah,
Stoff's like a big bro to me. One thing I really like about him, he's always in my ear. Practice, game, during timeouts, he's always in my ear trying to help out. He taught me some tricks here and there, hooking, like how to hook and do veteran stuff in college. But
yeah.
I definitely, when he's on the court, I watch him play as he's in my position. The main thing I notice about him is Stoff plays really hard. If shots aren't falling for him, he's still going to do other things to impact the game, which is one thing that I have to work on. If I can't hit threes, how can I impact the game in other ways? So he's been a really good big bro to me since I got here.
You are a guy then, if we're talking three level and some versatility on the court, I will say one of your best games, maybe in some ways because the Western game was a D2 school, maybe Monday against Fresno State was right up there as one of your best games too. And off the bench against Fresno State, you had it right here, but anyway, you had 11 points, I know. Hit three threes, I believe, and another good game off the bench. I'm curious. Uh, if you're hitting those three, there's one moment I'm going to give you a hard time about and ask you about in the Fresno State game. That's the fast break. You're running the break a little
Yeah,
bit. You see 6'10" running the floor, and you're like, wow, this is pretty impressive. You can pull this off, but then you got to the paint and you had a turnover. Um,
right.
so I'm curious, can you run the floor like that? Can you pull that off? Did coach give you a hard time about that? or
One thing I really appreciate about coach is he doesn't give me a hard time about it. He's more of like, snap out of it. We're gonna need you. Like next play, next play, next play.
it's
He's
not
big on
punishment
next
for
plays.
mistakes too much, right?
No,
Like,
not at all. I remember I started off the game in the first half, I think like 3 turnovers in 2 minutes. I started off terribly. At halftime, I was a little bit down on myself because I want to prove myself and just show that I could be on the court with the guys. And
yeah,
he came up to me at halftime. He just like, just stay locked in. We're going to need you second half. Just stay locked in. Be ready. You're going to get back in the game. And then he said, when I catch the ball, let it fly. So when I caught the ball, I just let it fly in that second half and good things happened.
at that corner three, right? And I know right in front of the bench. In fact, both of them were right there in front of the bench,
All
right?
three of them, I'm pretty sure were.
Were they all three right in front of your bench? That's right. I
Yeah.
can't remember the third, but I know two of them for sure. But yeah, if all three were right there in front of the bench, it would. Did the guy? Do you start hearing the guys
Oh,
or?
I hear them. I hear them for
Okay,
sure.
so tell
They're
me.
all
Okay,
screaming.
what's it like when you're shooting a three in front of your bench? What are you hearing? And do you feel a little bit more pressure because you know the guys are right there?
Not necessarily pressure. I feel more confident because I know they have my back. Even if I
Okay.
miss the shot, they'd be like, okay, good shot, like next play. But when I hit the three and I turn around, I see them, I want to celebrate with them. Then I gotta forget I have to run back on defense. So I usually just run back and smile at a couple guys here and there.
Obviously, you guys and this whole team, every team, this is not difficult to understand, but you guys are playing. When you're happy and things are going well, you guys are laughing, you guys are having fun, you guys are pointing at each other and stuff like that. This team has a lot of those moments though too, right? Where you guys kind of overwhelm the other team and you go on big runs. Have you ever been a part of a team quite like what's been going on with this team, where it's against Fresno State, it was 25-4 to start the game. And against Boise, you guys closed the first half on a 23-2 run. Even the Wyoming game where you guys struggled in the first half, it was a 17-1 run to start the second half. You guys have had so many dominant stretches. And what does it feel like to be in the middle of one of those dominant stretches where the other team can't seem to get out of it and you guys can't seem to miss?
It feels amazing, especially when we're at home. That's the best when we're just constantly on a run at home, and the fans that go crazy and gives you adrenaline, and everyone's happy and excited. That's a big thing. But I'll say I've never been on a team like that. Usually we start off pretty even, and then throughout the end of the game, it starts to get pulled out, whatever side. But we start off games amazing, and we just need to keep doing that for the remainder of the season.
Well, yeah, this team's had some of those runs. There's a 21-0 run at Colorado State too. You guys have had so many of these like dominant runs that just the other team just breaks. Um, you let me get back to your position a little bit. Stoff is your guy. You're playing the four. Can you play the five if you need to? This is a down the road question, obviously, but a couple
Mhm.
seniors at the five. UNM will need a five, and I'm sure they're going to hit the transfer portal hard for that and all that good stuff. But in a pinch, how are you comfort wise in playing the five if you have to? And I know this team, the four really plays the five sometimes or can. You
Right.
guys can stretch it out. But how comfortable would you be if you had to play more minutes at the five?
I feel comfortable playing the five. I think I remember against Wyoming in the second half, I played a little bit of the five. It was me and Mustafa on the court together. Nelly was off, and I felt comfortable. And even Stoff was talking to me about it. Be like, sometimes you could play a five, then we could really stretch the court.
Yep.
And if I'm having trouble guarding a bigger guy, Stoff said he can come in and take him. So I think that's not a problem. But like you said, the four and the five on this team is like very interchangeable. Like
Yep.
it's very similar for the offense. So I definitely feel comfortable playing both positions.
Nelly is as the five. And the five in this offense generally does a little bit more of setting that screen for Donnie, who's just Donnie's one of the best point guards I've ever covered in terms of utilizing the high ball screen, the pick and roll, and just kind of what he does off the pick and roll. Is I guess I didn't realize that like somebody could be as good at just a pick and roll, which is a real basic basketball action, right? You do that at all levels. But I didn't realize how good you could be at it until I saw Donnie kind of perfect it, and he's a great point guard. So I'm gonna ask two questions. One is, what is it like playing with Donnie, a point guard who makes everyone around him better? But the other part that I don't think fans in general pay attention to, Nelly Jr. Joseph can set those screens without getting a foul. Like his feet are really good, and it takes some work to get as good just setting that screen as Nelly does. It takes more work than people realize.
Right. I'd say playing with Donnie first off
Yeah.
is amazing. I've never played with a point guard that could see the court like him. So it's been amazing playing with Donnie. I love playing with him on the court.
How often have you caught or not caught a pass that like you didn't even know was coming?
Yeah, a lot of times he always tells us he's like, be ready for the pass, and even coaches like Donnie's gonna get it to you, so just be ready for it. A lot of the times, even in practice, when I cut to the basket, I don't think it's gonna go through to me, and it finds a way to get to me. So I'm really appreciative and thankful. Donnie's a really good guard, and then Nelly on the other hand, Nelly's a really good five man. I've never seen a five man that could. He plays really well with his upper body in terms of like spinning and elbows in the paint, and just a lot of really good body control and good touch. So,
And
and
he can
obviously with
hedge.
the screens,
Yeah, it's setting a screen and the
yeah,
way he can hedge so much on when he gets out on defense. Like he's doing stuff at the five that you don't see a lot of teams let their five even try.
very good. And soon, hopefully, he might pull out a three here and there. Hopefully, sometimes in practice he pulls it out and it goes in. So hopefully,
Telling you, he keeps telling
it's
us.
gonna come in the game.
Every time he talks to the media, if it's his turn to sort of talk with us, he tells us he's like, There, it's coming. It's kind of like
Yeah.
he's gonna throw one up." And then I saw one at the end of what? I guess he hit the buzzer beater against Nevada, and then there are a couple other times I've seen him with the ball at the top of the key, extended out beyond the line, and I'm thinking, is he gonna? But he hasn't yet. But you think he's going to? You think sometime this year he's gonna pull it?
I hope so. I hope so. That'd be a really good one because Nelly always in the gym working on those shots. Middies around that little break area at the 3 point line. He's always working on those shots. So when the game time comes and practice time comes when he shoots it, it's I feel comfortable with him shooting that shot because he works on it so much. So I'm just hoping the time comes in the game where it happens. So it could be a whole moment.
All right, we've talked about Stoff. We've talked about Nelly there. We talked about playing with Donnie. I need to ask, like, you committed to this team before there was another Serbian on the team and coming. Philip Borovicinin is a guy that I really think this team kind of took that next step after the New Mexico State game, about the same time that he was starting to really kind of find himself in that wing spot and his comfort zone a little bit. He was a starter to start the year, as you know, but I really think he found his comfort zone about that same time that you guys have been playing well, and it's I think he's been a big part of you guys kind of flipping that switch a little bit. Tell me what your guys' relationships like. Is it just because you guys are, both can speak Serbian and all that, or is there more to it than that? What's Philip like? Tell us a little bit about him.
Philip's my guy. He lives in the same like spot with me. It's me, Kay, Dan, and Philip's there with the
Okay.
freshmen with us. So Philip's a great guy. You could tell he's raised really well, and his family came down here. I met his family and his people. Really good. I think the Serbian, me being Serbian, definitely makes our relationship like closer and our connection closer. Um, he's always happy. Always has a smile on his face, and I'll tell you, he's a basketball freak. Like.
Is he?
He's constantly in the house watching basketball. If not watching Lobos, he's watching someone else playing. He's constantly watching film. So that's one thing that I'm a basketball freak as well. So I feel like we always talking about just basketball, and that's what brings us really close together.
All right, so I'd asked you the other day who's funnier, and like you say you guys are both kind of lighthearted and funny a little bit. Who's
Yeah.
funnier? I'm gonna put you on the spot again. Who's funnier between you and Philip?
Last time I said me, and I talked to Philip, and he made me laugh when I told him the story. So I'll give it to Philip again.
All
I'll
right, so,
definitely say
but it's
Philip's
close. It
funny.
sounds like
Yeah, it's close. It's close.
he is a guy though that it's hard to say he struggled because he didn't get big minutes at Arizona before he got here, and he was a starter he transfers somewhere and becomes a starter right off the bat, and he didn't play awful necessarily, but he wasn't doing what probably the coaches expected, what fans thought he was going to do, and probably what he expected. He probably expected a little more early in the season. Did you see him in any way struggling with confidence, or was he down on himself, or how did he get himself to the moment where I'm now kind of sort of describe him sort of as an X factor with how well you guys are playing?
I was gonna say, yeah, confidence is a big thing for Philip. I feel like at the beginning of the year he was, I wouldn't say scared to make a mistake, but very timid. With what he's doing, I feel like in practice he proved himself a lot, which led to that starting spot at the beginning of the year. And coach just kept putting confidence in him and saying, "We see you could do it here in practice. Just show us what you could like do it on the pit floor and wherever we end up playing." I feel like he's been doing an amazing job and he just keeps getting better and better. I didn't know he could rebound the ball like that. I feel he does an amazing job at rebounding for his size. So props to him.
All right, I don't know if you were on the floor. I'm guessing I don't think you were, but if not, he does a pump fake in the corner where you hit your threes
Yep.
against Fresno State.
Yep.
Little pump fake guy, blows by him and he drives baseline and dunks it.
Mhm.
Where were you on the bench?
Yes. Yeah. I was
Okay,
on the bench.
so you saw it from that angle. Like, what did you
Yeah.
think when he did that?
I was excited for him. I was very happy for him.
Did you think
I
he was going to
remember
throw it down or lay it up?
I thought he was gonna lay it up. Usually
Yeah.
he lays it up, so I was definitely happy for him. Sometimes Donnie be getting mad at him for pump faking all the time. He's like, just shoot the ball when you're open. Phil, he likes to pump fake the ball a lot on the perimeter. But luckily it went well. I was just very happy for him. He looked explosive. He looked athletic there.
All right, man. You guys are having fun. People are starting to get to know you guys a little bit better, and even just little interviews like this, people see you. You guys are having fun right now. But what's it going to take? You guys have 12 games left, at least 11 regular season, at a minimum. One Mountain West tournament game, and then we'll see. What the postseason looks like from there. But you guys have at least 12 games left. What's it going to take? From where you guys are right now to where you need to be. Like how much better can this team still get and needs to get?
Right. I'll say so far we're doing an amazing job. I feel we have to go day by day with it, team by team. We never look past the team. Coach is big on just staying in details and having every practice working up to it. He said today everybody knows it's season time. Everybody just wants to play games and not take practice as seriously. But I feel like we've been doing an amazing job in practice, just staying on task and staying disciplined towards the course. I think our team still could be better and better every day. Going into February, March, I feel like that's when you're going to see the best Lobos basketball.
And your role on this is probably going to be regular, minutes well into the teens, I would think.
Mhm.
Are you ready for that? Or
I'm ready.
have you hit any freshman wall like physically, or do you feel maybe dropping that weight over the summer has you ready for this? Freshmen about this time of year kind of start hitting a wall sometimes. Are you feeling that at all? Are you hitting any kind of wall physically?
No, I say I'm just really confident right now. As the conference started, I've been seeing the court more, and it's just making me more confident in myself and while I'm playing. So I'm just excited for the rest of the season. Take it game by day.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up here in a second, but I regret already asking you about you and Philip and who's funnier, and
Hmm.
not following up with this because the guy's such a smartass to me a lot. Coach Patino, how funny is he compared to how funny he thinks he is?
Coach P's a funny coach. I feel like in practice time, he can get on the guys a little bit and make a joke here and there. And the guys all be laughing, so it'd be funny. Coach is a really good coach. When it's time to be serious, he's
Yeah.
serious, and when it's time to make jokes, he's there.
Did you know that
So.
before you got here and started actually practicing over the summer that he was as sarcastic and funny as he is?
No, I did not. Because when we were talking on the phone and when I came on my visit, it was very just normal conversations,
Yeah.
as I thought it would be. But then when I stepped foot onto the court with the rest of the guys, I remember I went up to who was I think it was Stoff or Cade, the other freshman. I'm like, is he like sarcastic? What's going on here? Like, what type of coach is he? Like in terms of the joke around. But then it grew on all of us.
You're
So
not you're not the first Lobo that's told me that. Like it takes a
Mhm.
couple practices till you realize like, oh, he's sarcastic a lot. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
hard to know if he's being serious or not because he doesn't tell you, just kidding. He lets it
yeah.
ride, which is
He lets it rock
yeah, with good
for sure,
sarcasm. You just let it ride. If the people don't get it, that's on them.
for sure,
But
for
yeah, like
sure.
other players have told me that too, that it takes a little while, not a long time, but a few practices before you realize like he's probably just giving you a hard time about something.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Great
right.
coach. Love Coach P.
You guys also have a coaching staff. Who do you work with the most at your position, assistant wise?
I'd say there's not really a positional coach, or we just do more so. I'm usually with Coach Dave. Me,
Yep.
Philip, and Dave usually get extra work in together. So
Nice.
we put the Serbs together.
And a former head coach himself. So
Yes.
in this league, so that's good. He's an awesome guy. Look, man, I appreciate it. This has been fun. You guys obviously have everything still in front of you. You guys haven't accomplished anything you want to accomplish just yet.
Mhm.
But you guys have put yourself in a really good position to reach those goals. And it sounds like you guys are having fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time for doing this. What should Lobo fans know about the rest of the season for you and for the team?
Just be excited, and we'll give it our all for you guys.
Appreciate it. All right, there you go. My conversation with Jovan Milicevic, and I hope you like that, man. He's a good-hearted kid, and starting to see hard work that he's put in since he got here over the summer really start to pay off. He's obviously skilled. That's why they recruited him. It's why people were excited about him even before he got on campus. You could see the skill set, and it's starting to really pay off for him. And he's a fun guy to start getting to know a little bit in my position as a beat writer. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you enjoy all our coverage of Lobo sports in general and Lobo basketball specifically in the Albuquerque Journal, abqjournal.com. Please subscribe if you can. Help local journalism. Support local journalism. And you can get a digital subscription or a print subscription if you'd like. And also just listening to this podcast or watching it, subscribe to the channel you're watching it on. Hit like. All that good stuff. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. Give my bosses feedback. Let the bosses know if you like what we're doing. And if you do, hopefully you can support us a little bit with subscription. So, hope you enjoyed that conversation with Jovan Milicevic, the freshman forward for the UNM Lobos. And until next time, thanks for watching.